Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Well, let's see. I have got a boatload of crap. So let's just get out of here. And make sure there is nothing unpleasant waiting for me on the outside here. Close up the hidey hole. And now, let's see. That's dawn. So that's the east. I'm going west. I need to go this way. Onwards to the FarLands. All right. Well, let's see. Before I get into anything else, let's take care of the traditional opening bits here. This is the 544th Minecraft day since leaving spawn. And the world size is currently 6,606.54 megabytes as of the beginning of this episode. And yeah, walking to the FarLands in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, because that's the last version in which the FarLands exist. Anywho, moving onwards, the whole point of Journey to the FarLands is, well, give me an opportunity to just do something nice and simple and easy, like walk in Minecraft. Oh, yeah, let me get rid of some of this stuff. And at the same time, do something potentially useful, like raising funds for a worthy charity, like Child's Play. And, oh, wait a minute. Let's use up these here sticks. I really should go ahead and make a stack of torches, but I'm not going to bother right now. And, yeah, so that's what's going on, is the raising of funds for Child's Play charity. Now, back when I originally started doing this, I set a goal of 6,000. Let's see, where is that number? $6,346.45. And since that time, there has been some changes. And one of those changes is very recent. The first thing was that when I first started, I was using a widget called Chip-In that you could set up that would, you could have a goal, a fundraising goal on it, and donations would go through it, and you could point the donations to whatever you wanted to, and in my case, I pointed them to Child's Play charity, of course, and that worked very nice. It was very nice and easy, simple, and so on. And then, at some point, the Child's Play charity widget disappeared. It stopped working. The whole chip-in thing went belly up. And so, what I did was, I had a record of how much had been donated by that widget, and I went ahead and I made a new widget at Child's Play charity. And then I took the chip-in donation and subtracted that from how much had been donated via, or added that to how much had been donated via Child's Play, and that make the grand total of donations via Chip-In and Child's Play currently at $1,200.48. Okay, now we come to the part where things complicate a little more. Because the Child's Play widget that I had been using for some considerable length of time, which existed on my blog, on my website, as a embeddable widget that I can embed on my website. And yeah, well, apparently in recent months, that widget no longer exists. And so, it disappeared off the website and so on, and it has been impossible to donate to Child's Play charity through that method for some time. And recently I went to Child's Play charity and found out that they had set up a new system for campaign donations like this. And so I set about the process of setting that up. And I fussed a lot and whatnot, trying to come up with a way to I don't know. I wanted to make it look a little bit more uniquely Journey to the FarLands, so to speak. But it turns out that the page that you end up with for donations is kind of a formula thing. It's kind of pretty much set in terms of its design and appearance and so on. And the part that you get to customize is a message that you can put on there. And apparently you can post additional messages later on. And it is apparently also possible for visitors to that page to leave comments and so on. But the overall design and layout of the page is not customizable. So, yeah. I had thought originally that it would be at some point, in some way, but after a lot of messing around with it, it became painfully obvious that that sort of customizing was not going to happen. Which is fine, I suppose. It makes it easier to deal with. It takes a lot of decisions out of the question. And, there's nothing wrong with that. It simplifies it. This is what you got. Work with it. That's fine. Oh, good gravy. That right up there. Before the rest of it filled in, it looked like some kind of a big dog thing made out of dirt. I'm going to have to see if I can catch a frame where it looks like that and use that as a thumbnail. Because that's the sort of thing it looked like. Anyway, so now, what I've got now is I've taken and subtracted the amount raised from the original chip-in widget and the amount from the Child's Play widget. Those amounts have been subtracted from the overall goal to create a new goal, which is actually the same goal, only with prior progress removed. And that new goal, let's see, is the revised goal is $5,145.97 remaining to reach the ultimate end goal. And that page is now up. I have also the original Journey to the FarLands homepage, the link of which is always in the description of pretty much most of my videos, if not all. I went into my website and I set up a redirect so that anyone going to that page would land on the new donate page. And so it's up it works, and it's customized about as much as I can. And I need to do a overnight elevated sleeping platform, like right now, because it's night, and we don't like hostile mobs. Okay, so do that, pop this down here, get a bed, pop it down there. There we go. Okay, now we skip the night. And just kind of trudge across this and continue onwards. And so the revised goal is in place. The new donate page is there and up and running, and so on. The previously existing link will automatically redirect to it, and so forth. So that's good. We're now, once again, in a situation to make progress toward that goal. This is an excellent awesomeness thing. And anyway, okay, one of the things I do on this is I talk about any number of subjects, and I also take time to answer viewer questions, because, yeah, that's a whole lot more entertaining than if I were to just walk without saying anything for 30 or 40 minutes per episode. That would get boring mighty fast, both for you, the viewer, and for me, the person doing it. Anyway, one question, or in this case, actually, I think it was a suggestion. That it basically works out to the same thing as the question, because a question that I occasionally get is, why do I leave the bed behind? And in this case, it was a suggestion that I should break the bed and take it with me. And I believe I answered this one in the video comments, but I'll throw it out here as well, because the reason for leaving the bed behind is so that in the event that the worst should happen, and I should die for some reason, then I won't end up respawning back at original spawn, which is, by this point, several hundred miles behind me. That's a lot of progress to lose. Not interested. So instead, I put down a bed and I leave it there, so that it is that way, if I should die, the worst I can possibly do is to lose 1 day's worth of it would be to lose 1 day's worth of progress. That's a whole lot better than to lose over 540 days worth of progress. Yeah. So that's the reason I do that. And it's like the overnight hidey hole, the one that I make at the end of the episode, which is also the one that I start the next episode in. That one, I make it a point to block off the opening, so that should I end up respawning inside there, it will not just be a welcoming open thing for hostile critters to walk into and ruin my morning. Yeah. So that's the reason for that. And You know, yes, it would be a lot more it would be a little more economical, maybe not a lot, but a little bit more economical in terms of resources and so on, to just break a bed, take it with me, and reuse it over and over again. But the idea is to have a place to respawn at that is not all the way back at the beginning. A similar question that kind of sort of goes along with this, that comes up once in a while, is how many times have I died? And in this world, I have to say, no, I have not died in this world. I have walked all this distance, and I know for a fact that it's several hundred miles, because back when I did the very first F3 on, let's see, I believe it was March 25th or so of either 2017 or 2018, I don't remember exactly right now. At that point, I had traveled a little over 610,000 blocks, which, after doing the math to convert it from meters to miles, worked out to 379 miles. And that was at that point. I have traveled some considerable but unspecified distance since then. So I know we're talking multiple hundreds of miles here in terms of progress, with many, many more to go, because the FarLands it begins at like 12.5 million blocks. That's a long distance. Yeah, so there's probably not much likelihood that I'm going to get there anytime soon. You know, frankly, at my current pace, I could probably take 20 or 25 years to get there. Who knows? So I'm just going to keep going, and so on and so forth, and yeah. Well, let's see. What am I doing for? Okay, I'm okay on wood. I could stand some wool. I need a new shears. So I need to keep an eye out for sheep. Okay. Oh, coal. That's enough. I'm not going to hang around here in the dark doing much of that. It got me some. That's enough. So, let's see, onward. Let's see. BJ Smith 503 asks, what's been the best and worst job you ever had? Oh, boy. Well, let's see, the worst. The worst job I ever had, I think, probably had to do with one of those spot labor jobs, you know, where you basically work for a place that you get a job for that day. Daily pay thing. And in this case, the job was at some construction site where they're building homes. And what I had to do for that day was to pick up rather large pieces of brownstone and move them around. And let me tell you something. You try picking up a rock that's the size of your chest. It's not easy, and it will wear you out faster than anything. totally. And that had to be one of the worst. Very heavy. And it went on forever. That was probably one of the longest days I've experienced in a very long time. Probably the best job that I'd had. This would be one where I was working in a machine shop, programming a computer-controlled CNC cutting machine. It was good. I didn't have any heavy or nasty work to do. And it was the first and only job I've ever had in which the use of my brain was more important than the use of my brawn. You know, I very much appreciated that job. I had it for a couple of, like 2.5 years or something like that. And the main reason that I didn't continue with the job is because it moved. I was not facing the right direction. I was going this way, but west is that way. All right, not too big of an offset or anything, so just keep going. That was pretty good, because I would get blueprints for a part, and then I would have to translate that geometry of the part into a program that would make the cutting machine cut that part out of flat pieces of steel. And it was pretty cool. I liked it. It was a nice, undemanding kind of job, but very good, because it wasn't just hack something out of a material to make something, because you're talking about precision cutting, where tolerances were typically to 1/1000th of an inch. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a very good job. And like I said, had it not moved far enough to be, well, we're talking a 50-mile commute one way, and that's too far. Sorry. That was just too far at all. It's too bad. I did like the job. But things happen, you move on, and you do the best you can with what you got. Yada, yada, yada. All right, let's see. Dee Dee Christensen asks, what do you do for fun? Oh, that's a wide open question. What do I do for fun? Well, pretty much most of what I do could fit for that. Either playing games, making videos, reading, watching videos, whether they're game videos, YouTube videos, or movies, or old TV shows, and, you know, anything like that. And lately I've been doing, this summer I started writing again, and I've been working on a story that at some point, I have no idea yet when, but at some point it will end up being published. Not published for pay, however, because this is, what I'm writing is basically fan fiction, and you can't make money on fan fiction because you're using somebody else's characters and stuff. You're writing it for the enjoyment of writing it, and because you're a fan of whatever characters or TV or book or movie or whatever that you're basing the whole thing in. And, oops, oh, I already had a shears. Good gravy. Now I have an extra one. You know what I'll do? I'm going to throw away the old one. And somebody's going to say, well, you just wasted that. Yes, I did. Shamelessly. Okay. Pop that there. Collect this. Nice little trivia bit. This is the first crafting table that I have ever made in this world. Haha, how about that? I've carried it with me since spawn. There was a few times that I almost left it behind, but still got it. Oh boy. This little bit of water was almost not worth a boat, but whatever. Let's see. That game guy asks, do you ever use mods? On occasion. Not in Journey to the FarLands, obviously. Because there wouldn't be a whole lot of point, and this is really supposed to be a vanilla, no cheats, no mods walkthrough, walking trip to the heading to the FarLands, and any mods that I might use would be the sort of thing that would require me to stop and build a fairly extensive base and so on, and a lot of time mining a lot of resources and building extensive stuff to mine even more resources, which would then be left behind when I finally continued on the journey. But it would take away from the journey a lot. On Hermitcraft, I don't use mods except for Optifine, and not always then, because I don't always bother these days anymore, because the main original reason I started using Optifine was because Minecraft needed the performance boost it got from Optifine. This is not quite so much of a big deal these days, because my computer now is miles better than the Toshiba laptop I used when I first started playing. And so, yeah. Now, I have played several modded Minecraft series. I think the most recent one was FTB Insanity, which is a modded skyblock. Had a lot of fun with that. And before that, I was playing in one that I ended up pausing it for reasons of real-world difficulties that kept me from spending a whole lot of time on any one thing at once. And that was the Direwolf 20 Season 7 pack. I never did finish that out, and I do still have that install and that world and whatnot, and I do actually want to get back to it. And this would be my second really long hiatus out of it. So I've got a bad habit of putting things down and leaving them for sick amounts of time and then finally getting back to them. So I will get back to it. I can't begin to guess at when, but I will. So, yeah, I am not a stranger to mods. And, Hermitcraft being a server, I couldn't use, the only mods I could ever use there would be client-side mods. You know, like Optifine. I admit that I have been severely tempted on many occasions to add in a mini-map mod, because I have long since reached a point where I think that a mini-map in Minecraft is something that I think ought to be an option that you could turn on and use, because it's just so helpful. Really, it is. And it's such a sensible kind of thing to have. I have not actually done so. I brought up the idea one time in a Hermitcraft episode, and the overwhelming majority of reaction was vehemently against it. And so I opted for the time being not to use a mini-map on Hermitcraft. Which I figured it wouldn't be cheating because it's, you know, it's a client-side thing. And why not? It's not affecting the server at all. Oops. Speaking of affecting things, sunset is affecting me right now. And it's time to dig in and get a hidey hole going here. Let's get some light in here. Let's get some more light in here. Let's close the door. Dig the rest of this thing out. Okay, pop down a bed. Let's see, I've already got 3 more boats, so I just need to make 3 more beds for the next episode, during which time I will need to collect more wool. And break this up. Alright, so there we go. That's a wrap, as they say. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.